Hello, everybody, and welcome to another SPL Rosterpocalypse interview. Today, we're joined by BennyQ, the mid laner for the Eldritch Hounds, and Neil Ma, the new support player for the Eldritch Hounds. How are you guys doing?
Doing
I'm
good.
doing
How are
good,
you?
man.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a nice day, considering. Tuesday, I used to think was the worst day of the week, but now that I don't work a Friday, it's still the worst day of the week, but it's not so bad, I think. I hate Tuesdays. But this is going to be a good one. But yeah, Hounds, you guys were having a great season considering, I think. You came into the last tournament, did really, really well, took the Ferryman to all 5 games. Everything was going great. And then all of a sudden, Quig's been poached by the Camelot Kings, and you guys are looking for a support. Benny, do you want to just take us through the timeline there a little bit of when you discovered that Quig was going to be leaving and how that came about?
I think we knew. I want to say like two weeks before Masters.
Mhm.
We heard about like the genetics situation and how their roster was locked and whatever. So I think Quig played for the Kings for a few like tryout games.
Mhm.
I want to say like 2 weeks before, and then I guess he was like just thinking about it the whole time. But we all kind of knew, and we're just like, well, whatever happens, happens. Let's just like focus up for Masters.
Okay, so you knew before Masters that he might leave. He'd done some tryouts, practiced with them, and then after Masters, I guess
Um,
he just came and said it.
yeah, we just had like a team talk, and then he's like, "I'll be real, guys. I'm out of here."
And that must have been, I don't know, I feel like it must have been a shock for you guys, especially considering how well the phase had gone and how well Masters in particular went. I mean, you did as you were the second best team. I think it would be very
hmm
fair to argue. Your first time with Coast playing off of ping, everything really seemed to be coming together for you guys, and then you had it ripped out from under you.
Yeah. In my head, if we got first, he was probably gonna stay, or like, maybe even if we made finals. But I mean, it's like pretty fair to leave, I guess,
Yeah,
just
I
to
suppose.
for himself.
Yeah, wants to further his career, going to join the World Champions. It's a hard offer to ignore, I suppose. And then from there, you guys obviously needed to think about what you wanted to do and who you wanted to pick up. And we're here with
Mhm.
Neil today because that's who you went for. But how did that come about? What were the conversations like within the team?
Well, we were all like, well, me, Ducky, Oath, and Chuck were all traveling home,
Mhm.
so took a bit, like, especially with Chuck, it's like a 3-day trip or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of thinking because it was between Neil, Jake, Gamma, or Bobby, and I don't know. We had like a talk nearly every day, and then at the end of every day, we'd be like, "Yeah, let's sleep on it," and then we just kept procrastinating until we made a decision.
Yeah,
Well, I guess Jake went out of the equation pretty quick, but
yeah, that's what I heard. As I heard you guys were thinking about it, you guys were considering, and then Jake was gone. He was on the Glads.
hmm um, yeah, I mean, I guess we did take a while, but yeah, he kind of didn't want to wait, which is fair, I think.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of understand his POV. Maybe he felt like he wanted to be wanted more. He wanted to be the number one choice. But Neil was your choice, and Neil, I guess, for those who don't know, Neil was coaching the Highland Ravens up until now this season. What did you think when you got approached? Did you take some time to mull it over and decide whether you wanted to come back, or was it a pretty immediate decision?
Yeah, I definitely took a while. I want to say like four days, maybe a week, somewhere in that range. Of I actually thought on it pretty hard. I think mostly the time came to me just making sure that I really still wanted to play, and I still thought that I could play at a high level. Because one thing that I've always thought is I wouldn't want to join a team if I didn't really want to play and couldn't give them my all. Especially a team like this that's kind of a little bit more new, a little bit more fresh. Just to kind of sully that experience for them and just to not give them my all would just be really, really selfish in a lot of ways, and I think wouldn't just be doing them a good service. Like a lot of these players want to win really bad and have a lot of passion and have a lot to learn as well, which I think is going to be interesting. But I just think that if I jumped on it quickly and then wasn't positive that I wanted to play, it would just have really bad implications for everyone involved. So I definitely took my time. Maybe a bit longer than I should have, but it was pretty tough. I was pretty on the fence and just really had to think: is this really what I want to do?
Yeah, and you eventually did make the decision to come back. I mean, it's been, you decided, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you decided at the end of last season that you didn't really want to play going into the start of this year. What do you think were the sort of driving changes between then and now, which made you feel like you wanted to come back? You've done the coaching bit for a little while and you wanted to get back into playing.
Yeah, I really did enjoy coaching, but on the bottom line, it is a bit more like you're not as hands on, right? The highs are less high and the lows are less low, which is something that's nice. And so I was enjoying coaching, but it wasn't like something I thought I'd be doing forever. I enjoyed the team that I was coaching as well. The Ravens, all those guys are awesome. I have nothing bad to say about anybody. They're all easy to work with. But just at the end of last season, we just had so few breaks and we were playing for so long. I just felt really burnt out, especially like the year before. Like both of those years, the Warriors didn't go very smoothly at all. I think that at times we had really good stretches, but at the end, it just kind of felt like we didn't mesh that well. And that just given with just like I said, just playing so much, I was just like, I just don't even feel like I want to play the game that much. And at that level, kind of what I went back to saying earlier, I thought it would just be detrimental to join a team and then just kind of coast and just kind of just be like, oh, I can just take a paycheck and just not be really that helpful. So I just thought, at the very least, I'm not sure if I'll play again or not, but I need to take a break and just see because I could join a team, but if I did, I think I'd be doing them and myself a disservice. So just deciding to take a step away and then just seeing how I felt after not playing the game was really important for me.
Yeah. Only one guy gets the coast in the SPL, and you're laning with him now.
Exactly.
Yeah, poor puns aside. I guess one thing to touch back on, I suppose, Benny, is when you were going between, when you and your team were deciding between Neil, Gamma, Bobby, and Jake, what were the sort of driving things you were looking for in a support for your team? Like, what did you feel like you needed to bring in to replace Quig and to help you guys keep moving forward as a squad?
I would say we were kind of looking for someone to give us direction. I think Quig was like our main shot caller, kind of telling like Oath where to go and like how to play the map.
Mhm.
So we were looking for someone that like can communicate and like sort of plan things for us, because I feel like we didn't really want another like we felt like each of our players could just like kind of solo win us a game, and we didn't really need more of that, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like obviously that's like towards Jake, like he doesn't really communicate or like is as vocal as everyone else.
Yep.
So that narrowed it down for us. And then we're just looking for like experience, I guess, to help us develop as a team.
And you don't get much more experience than Neil, two-time world champion. Not too bad. It's takeable, I suppose. PK jersey in the back there. Throwing it back to that. Yeah, I guess another one on the coaching thing, Neil. Is there much that you took out of coaching? This was your first time coaching, I think, as far as I'm aware anyway. Is there much that you took out of it that you're going to bring back into playing? Like, did the role surprise you? Did it teach you much? Or was it just more of the same, but a little bit of a top-down view?
I think that coaching helped me actually learn how to like macro on this season a lot better, just because like it's a new season in general, so everything's a lot different. But also just being able to watch the whole map from a coaching perspective, I think just gives you a lot more unbiased view of your own role. I think in that sense that it's gonna take me a bit of time actually playing support to kind of figure that out and field out the specifics of the support role again and what feels optimal and what characters feel good. But on a whole, I think just watching the map and how it should be played and just seeing how the macro works from a kind of omniscient perspective helped a lot, especially early days. I thought that when I was coaching, I had really valuable input on like teams how we should be playing the map, what feels good, and like where you should be prioritizing farm and rotations. So I think in that way, coaching has helped me a lot. Actually, just taking a step away and being able to look at it from a spectator perspective, which I mean you could do as a player sometimes, but it's pretty hard after practicing and playing on your own time to go and like rewatch practice and stuff. Like not many people want to be doing that. So I think that it has helped me in a few different ways for sure. And coaching also had like its own unique struggles, which is interesting. Just in terms of like having information and like realizing that sometimes you can be overloading people as well. Like you have to kind of feed like just the teaching element, right? It's just something that I didn't. It's pretty obvious when you think about it, but just how to actually get information across. I think that is kind of useful and might be beneficial when I come back to playing as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely ran into that when coaching. You would take like a full page of notes, but you would realize it's not worth telling everybody about the full page of notes.
yeah,
You just tell them the
fix
one
everything.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Like-
can't fix everything. It takes a lot of time for small things. You have to work on small things at a time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess going back together with Chuck, you battled him as a coach for a little while, and now you get to team up with him again. That must have been a little bit of a draw towards this team for you, wasn't it, Neil?
Quite the opposite, actually. It was a repellent. If I have to live with that guy, I think I actually might just full on retire. Yeah, but it was nice. I mean, he's the one who reached out to me. I'm not sure whose idea it was, but I'm sure he had a strong voice in the selection process because he obviously knows me probably as well as anyone in the league in terms of like what I bring and whatnot. So yeah, it's always going to be good to team up with someone like Chuck. He's a great guy and a great coach as well. So excited.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when he gets back from Oz. He'll probably be, yeah.
Cross
That'll be a few days
fingers.
recovery.
Yeah.
I think that was all I had to say, or all I had to ask on the roster change that you guys made. But considering the rest of the changes, the overall landscape of the league and all the switch ups that happened, like, we'll start with you, Benny. How do you feel about the changes that teams made, like Warriors, Kings, and Glads? Do you think those guys got better, got worse, stayed about the same? How do you feel about the rosters going forward?
I think everyone got an upgrade besides the Kings, I would say. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really thought much about it, but I can see like the reasons and I understand why everything kind of happened.
Mhm.
So I think really it's just like going from genetics to Quig. Not a shot at Quig, but that's like the only downgrade, I guess.
Yeah, it's a big switch. It's a hard one to say that Quig's gonna be better straight away than the World Championship winning MVP guy, Rookie of the Year, etc.
Yeah.
Neil, what about you?
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard to say because a lot of these moves, like the Kings, maybe like what they needed is just a change, and especially like a change like in how they want to play the game as well. Because I feel like Gen X is a really strong voice in that team. So maybe now that Quig's there, having some fresh ideas or letting other people make more of the shot calls might be something that'll bring life back into that team because they've looked a bit stagnant at times. Kind of like looked like the same play style sort of team, kind of slow paced, kind of want to hit the macro and then team fight late game. So maybe he'll bring some aggression. It's hard to say because obviously Gen X is really good and a very smart player. But I think there's a chance that it could be a kind of like a side grade in a way. I think the Glads got an upgrade. I think that it'll be different with Jake just maybe being more of like a leadership position on that team now because he's like he's an experienced player at this stage and he obviously had like probably the best split of any sport player last split. So I think that he's gonna have a strong voice on that team and we'll get to see if he can in a new environment kind of take a bit of the reins a bit more. So that'll be interesting. I think they got an upgrade. And the Warriors, yeah, I mean, it's just going to be different too for the Warriors because Jake is such a loose player, like, wants to play really fast. And I wonder how Gen X will fit on that team. Like, I don't have doubt that he'll still be playing well. But it's interesting to see because they were a team, when I watched them the first split, they'd take like 4v5s and like win them, things like that. Things that are very untraditional that you look at first and you're like, what are they doing? And then it's like, oh, okay, they're winning. And it's interesting to see like a more measured player like Genetics. Like, is that still going to have that element to be there? So it's going to be really interesting with a lot of these teams. I think a lot of it's just going to be we have to sit and watch and see how everything pans out because a lot of these can kind of go either way. Yeah, but all really good players changing teams, so it'll be interesting to see.
For sure. Yeah. It was definitely not something that I saw coming either. When I saw my dog turned into a snake tweet from you, Benny, I was like, surely not. Surely the Hounds aren't making changes. But yeah, it just goes to show. SPL, it's what do you say? It's like it's a harsh mistress, I guess.
It's a revolving door in some ways.
Oh,
and
yeah.
who knows? It might not even be it.
Oh, don't tell me that. I can't be hearing more. There can't be more.
That's the best part.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be watching all these guys in practice real closely. I got a list. I'm just playing. Yeah.
I guess that's a fun final question. Have you got something on this team that you want to fix, Neil? Coming in, you were watching them play against you were playing against them. What was the weakness that you were exploiting that you're gonna fix?
I think a lot of, like, honestly, from the outside in, when I was watching this team, I would watch the team and I'd just be messaging Chuck while they're playing. I was like, you guys literally just like won the game if you did this, but instead you just did like the one or like two like decisions that you'd lose the game for no reason. Just things like that. Like, I was really surprised with this team in particular because obviously a lot of like more like teams with people with their first year in SPL just don't do that well, right?
Mhm.
It's just an experience thing. It's not like the players are bad, but it's really hard. And this team just played unbelievably, taking wins like off the ferryman, having a lot of, like Benny was saying, like individual players just kind of win games. And then you just see like when the team play came into the mix, like they would just take a fight they shouldn't, they'd lose the game, or just like they could just be being patient and then just like all in and lose the game. So just like a way I like to play is just taking like more measured and calculated risks. Like you could take this kind of fight and like flip the coin and win the game, but I'd rather wait for like a 70 or 80% opportunity that I see that like is just more less risky with like the same payout. So I think that is like one thing that I think that I would help with a lot on the team. Like barring all like the macro or whatever, we'll have to see how all that goes. But just decision making in general in that regard, yeah. But I'm excited to play with everyone because they really all surpassed my expectations coming into how I thought the team was going to do as a whole. Like and even some of the players too. I was watching like the players early on, and just how far they've come in such a short period of time is just really impressive to me.
Yeah, I do feel like it's almost been overlooked with how underrated the Warriors were by everybody, how underrated the Hounds were as well.
For sure.
Really, really good team. And Benny, how is this different than last year? I feel like compared to the Valks, you guys have been like a much better like play-in team. A few players introductions to the league, but players playing at a higher level. What do you think the difference is for you guys versus the Valks? Is it an experience issue or is it something else?
Personally, I just feel like everyone on this team is more, uh, I guess, open to ideas. Because I felt like the mid core on the Valks was very stubborn. So like me, Kermi, and Gamma would never really agree on anything or like work towards something. And I think that's one thing that we were really good at this year, where we would like be able to identify problems pretty easily and like kind of be down to agree, I guess, which never really happened. Um, Other than that, it's like I don't know, just different. Feels different.
Built
Yeah, you
it,
guys look like you have
perhaps.
confidence, like a good like
Yeah.
chemistry and confidence with each other.
I think, yeah, I guess it's like a personality thing too. I think we all approach the game kind of the same way with like a maybe too confident approach, especially with Coast and Oath. But yeah,
Play with
that definitely
swagger.
helps.
You play with swagger, I think, is a good way to put it. I feel
Yeah.
like you all do a little bit. Ducky probably the least so, but even he this season's been swagging out a little bit. I feel
Yeah,
like.
he's been cooking, dude.
Cool. Well, I think that was it. Is there anything final that either of you would like to get out there to all of the many fans before we finish this one up? No.
Yeah, I mean, everyone who's just supported me, obviously, like, it's been great just to hear all the positive things about me coming back and all the people who just appreciated me and supported me throughout my whole career. It's good to be back, and I have a feeling that this new, like, fresh start is going to be really good for me. And I think that it's going to breathe new life into me. I think that people kind of underrate me nowadays. But I got that dog in me, let's just say that.
Ooh.
And if you're sleeping on me, you might, I don't know, just saying don't sleep on me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just wanna thank everyone for supporting us this past phase. It's felt real good.
It's looked real good too. It's been very, very impressive. I'm looking forward to watching the roster going forward. Coast now on LAN, teaming up with Neil. It's a combo that I don't think I would have called like a couple years ago, but it's exciting. I can't wait to watch it. Thanks so much, guys, for coming on, and thanks everybody for watching. I will see you all next time, and I'll see you later. Bye, Benny. Bye, Neil.
Bye.
Love
See
you.
you. Love you too.
Mwah.